So I'm going to do Deuteronomy 22, which has the most infamous Bible chapter probably ever written, and I'm going to tell you why this is the way it is. You'll understand it. Trust me. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. I just love this law. So if you see a dog wandering the streets, or you see an ox or a sheep or an animal that you know belongs to someone, be sure to find out where it lives. I know some dogs are big, but at least try, at least try. Some dogs are scary, at least try. Try to bring back try to restore to your neighbor their animal. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seek it after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. So if you see the dog, restore it, take it home. You know those stories, like they take the dog home, they put up the wanted posters. That's the way you're supposed to do it. Now, at least try. At least try. In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, with all lost things of thy brothers which he hast lost, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself. So don't hide yourself. Go out there and try to find the dog. Go out there and try to find anything. Always try to restore to your brother what is lost. Okay? We've all failed at this, but try to restore what was lost. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fallen down by the way. Hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him lift them up again. So if your brother's animal is in peril, or even their car or something like that, you are to help them. You are to help them. Now I know in today's day and age that can be a little hairy. So not everybody wants you helping them at their vehicle because that can be dangerous for them. So there's some grace to say we don't necessarily need to pull over on the side of the road and help the girl change her tires because she could feel like she's in danger. But if you know the person and they know you, it's a different matter. The woman shalt not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. So cross-dressers, transgenders right here, and this is still the moral law, this still applies. So the moral law continually applies, the ceremonial law, it does not. But this does not mean that a transgender cannot be saved, it just means they have to repent of their transgenderism, because all this law in both Old and New Testament, it's abolished in Christ Jesus. So all the condemnation, all the things that put you to death, all the abomination is punctured into Christ's hands, and he is raised. So if we put away the sin, we will be saved too. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young, or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young. So a dam is a animal with a little youngster. So it's actually a very beautiful word. And if the bird is sitting on the egg, you can't take the bird and the egg. And this is to teach us about kindness. We're not to take the whole thing. We're not to completely destroy it. We're to have reverence for nature and also our fellow man. We're not to spoil beyond a certain level. We're not to completely spoil. We're not to completely destroy. We have to leave something because it's righteous. There's a lot of stuff in the Bible about respecting nature too. There's a lot of stuff in the Bible about respecting nature, and you can also apply this to respecting your fellow man. If you are in a business deal, make sure that you only get enough for yourself. Don't take the whole kit and caboodle. You know what I mean? It's useful in that regard too. Don't take more than what is your allotment, because you could destroy someone doing that, and that's a sin. But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest prolong thy days. So the Lord has a curse here that if you do spoil beyond what is truly necessary, you're unfaithful in your business dealings and you take more than you ought to, your life is going to be shortened. When thou buildest a new house, then shalt thou make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from thence. This is an awesome verse, because you have to make sure when someone's working on your house that they have some kind of safety net. In this day and age, it's insurance. insurance. Okay, so the employer has insurance which protects them. It's also, could be ropes, it could be a net, but this is pertains to lawsuits, you are not to endanger people with anything. Like, don't endanger them. Like, if you leave something that is dangerous, an obstacle in someone's path, you are liable. You do not want to bring blood upon yourself. So this is actually a validation for certain lawsuits. If you need to go to court, if there's damages and you need to do it, it's not like excessive, but there's a certain level by which if a thing is too dangerous, it ought not to be. Kind of saying that you're not to risk or peril someone's life. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. So right now this would refer to GMO. I don't think that that's a very good thing to be doing. I think the Bible is clear. You're not to cross genetics of different plants. It doesn't mean do horticulture and find healthier and stronger lineages to make healthier fruit, but it does mean not to cross-pollinate two different species. Like a mule, like a horse and a donkey. You're not really supposed to do that because it can create aberrant genetics that can corrupt things and make nature, it can destroy nature. It can also destroy your garden and make your fruits very weak. As you see with GMO, they're specifically built so you can't reseed them, and then they pollinate with other foods, and it creates a whole mess. It's really, we're not supposed to do that. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together, and that because it is dangerous. They're unequally yoked, which is what Jesus is saying. Do not be unequally yoked, because if they're unequally yoked, it will create an off balance for your plow, and it's more likely to hurt you. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together. So the reason why you don't wear wool and linen together is because it creates rashes. It's really why. It's not for any. It's just really uncomfortable. Okay, it's not a very safe thing to wear. It'll irritate the skin. It's not very comfortable. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. Yeah, that's no longer applicable. Some Messianic Jews wear something called seats, which is like a little fringe upon their garments. I mean, if you want to, there's no sin against it, but it's also not something that you really have to do either. It's your choice. You're free in the gospel to say, I don't want to wear fringes on my garment. But make sure you wear modest apparel. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her and give occasion of speech against her and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid, then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of her damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. The damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet those are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of the city shall take that man and chastise him. They shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house. The men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die, as she hath wrought folly in Israel. Play the whore in her father's house, so shalt thou put evil away from among you. Okay, it's important that we understand that according to this law, everybody is going to die. Everybody, entire nations. If you're a Canaanite, you're dead. If you're a Philistine, you're dead. If you're any sin, if you're not in the Sabbath, you're dead. So take that into context that, that's why that's so harsh, is that we have grace, so we all have sinned. So understand that if you are having sex before marriage, you are actually committing a sin that is worthy of death. And it is that serious. But if your husband says you were not a virgin and you were, then generally, you're stuck with her for all your life. I know that sounds kind of of funny. Why is it like that? Shouldn't the husband be in trouble too? I think that's how we're to respect virginity as a woman, is that it's not to be given away very easily. It's to be treasured, because it is more deadly to lose your virginity before marriage than it is to, in a sense, be accused of not being a virgin. It's just, your virginity is an incredibly important thing for both men and women. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel. So you shall put away evil from Israel for adultery. Again, everybody is condemned to death under the law. So understand this, we are not to commit adultery. So if you have sex with someone's wife or someone's husband, you are guilty of death. And I think that's a very serious offense. Again, we are freed from the curse because everybody has sinned, everybody has secrets, but still the law puts you to death. So we're to sit there and see the law and say, this is a sin, so I shall not do it. If we already have, that's why we have grace. But we are not to do these things, because to do it is to heap death upon ourselves. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in a city, and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel because she cried not, being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away the evil from among you. So again, you commit adultery, you shall die. Even a spiritual death, because in this day and age, there's not really much laws that are going to hold you accountable, but God will hold you accountable, and any sin that puts you to death will put you in hell. That includes Sabbath breaking. Christ is our shepherd. That includes being in a nation that is not Israel. Okay? That is how serious the law is. It puts all nations under the sword, according to the Bible, and that sword will be used by Jesus at the end. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. So if a woman is raped, she shall be spared. That's what this is saying. So if the woman screams in the point where she's lying with a man, then she's spared. So if you're ever being raped, women, scream. Scream as loud as you can, and then you're safe. Because you screamed, you have been raped. If you fight back and you scream, and then you have been raped, and God will defend you, and the man is guilty, not you. Okay, and you have to say something right away. If you get raped, say something right away. Police sometimes not very on the ball about that stuff, but you have to say something right away. That's the right thing to do. Because if you let time pass, there's no way to prove it, and your memories can alter, and you could a lot of things change, so you have to do it right away. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. So rape is akin to murder. For he found her in the field, the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. But in the city, there will be someone to save you if she's crying. And not always. Like, sometimes people don't always save the damsel. That's why you go straight to the police. Go straight to the police. As soon as it happens, go straight to the police. Okay, that will save your life. Okay, go straight to the police as soon as it happens. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, and he may not put her away all of his days. So that's the verse, and this is that gray area. The woman's not married. She's a virgin, or possibly, and she has premarital sex, and there's that gray area. She did not scream. She didn't scream, and she's not engaged. If she didn't scream, she didn't fight, she didn't go straight to the police, she allowed it to happen, there might be a little gray area of consent. That's what this is about. That gray area needs to be addressed, people. And this is how God addressed it, because it is a sin. And God put a curse on both the man and the woman for that gray area. It's neither one or the other. It's both their fault. So that gray area needed to be addressed. And the black area of unconsensual sex, where the woman resisted, is different than the one where the woman passively, and I know that sounds horrible, okay? But that's because there needs to be a clear distinction between the two. If there's a gray consent, like half consent, this is a punishment. And that's why it's like that, okay? Now, I know that doesn't sound fair, but that's to prevent a woman from 5 years down the line saying, well, he raped me. It wasn't really rape. It was some kind of gray area, okay, that you felt a little ashamed of. And that's why it's like this, is to protect people. And then if you pay the woman's father $500 would be the equivalent now, it's as a dowry. In old Mesopotamian times, this was called the bride price, where if you had sex with the woman before marriage, she became your wife, and there's nothing you could really do about it, or you paid the bride price to her father, so she had some kind of living that she didn't have to basically be destitute if the father accepted it. So those were your two options. Or she became a prostitute and took care of herself, which was not very merciful, because that was a very disgusting job, and that was her other option if her father didn't save her, was to become a prostitute, because no one would marry her if she wasn't a virgin. Luckily that's all changed, but still the gray area needs to be addressed. That's the gray area needs to be addressed, and it does address that gray area here, and that's why this is like this. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. So that's pretty simple. You don't want to get married to your father's wife, not your mother, but your stepmother. That's disgusting. That's a disgusting kind of perversion that even Paul addresses it in 2nd or 1st Corinthians. I think it's 1st Corinthians. He addresses this disgusting abomination, and that's it's disgusting. You don't want to marry your father's wife. Why do we even have to say it? Apparently we do. A lot of things in there, there's things in there that we would never do them, but people have to be warned about it, because if they do it, then it's an abomination. Whatever's an abomination is going to put you to death. If it says abomination, that means it's a death sentence. I think it's just not even telling you it so specifically. It's just saying it's an abomination. And I didn't say it gives a death sentence, but it really what it means. It doesn't have to say it. I think sometimes the Bible just leaves it up to the imagination. If it doesn't say something, it's really implied. I think that's an important thing. Like, just common sense says you don't marry your father's wife, and if you do, it's an abomination.